Morning everyone, and welcome to my latest video. Cycling magazines. Are they worth it? Should you buy them? Should you read them? Which ones should you buy? And which ones should you read? And which ones should you maybe not bother with? Well, watch this video and you'll find out. So we're going to start with the comic. Yes, the venerable Cycling Weekly, established in 1891, occasionally reads like it's not changed much, and it costs £2.99 every week. Now, I've got a confession to make. I don't normally buy Cycling Weekly. Anybody knows me knows that I love to read, and I'll read pretty much everything. And when I get interested in a subject like cycling, which I got interested in a few years ago, one of the first things that I do is start reading the magazines, and then I read all the magazines. And I used to buy Cycling Weekly every week, but I don't anymore. Why not? Well, £2.99 is a lot of money when you're retired every week. And to be honest, if I'm in the newsagents, and when you're retired you might as well hang around newsagents, I can speed read it in about 10 minutes. So I don't normally like to waste my money on something I can speed read in a newsagent in 10 minutes. But I did buy it for this video. And I've got another confession to make. This issue is actually pretty good. It's called the Endurance issue, and it's got various bits of advice and guidance on riding long distances, which happens to be an interest of mine. What else does it have? Well, it's always got reviews of some new bikes. It always tells you who won the 10-mile time trial or the 25-mile time trial in Skelmersdale, and if you're one of those cyclists who knows the difference between the G21 and the G31 and the G41, and that Joe Bloggs did a 1949 in 1949 on the G1949 course, well, this is going to tell you. So is it worth it to buy every week? Well, if you're an old school cyclist, one of those people who doesn't normally wear a helmet, doesn't wash his shorts very often, has got quite an old bike, probably steel, has trouble with the bottom bracket, then Cycling Weekly, that's the magazine for you. Because it's about the old days of the sport, and they do try and update it. And this one says, what does it say? Fresh new look. Can you see that? Never trust a magazine that says fresh new look, by the way. It usually means just the same as it was before, but we've got a new colour printer. But it's okay. What's next? The other one, just finding it here amongst the pile. The other one, which is probably the other best known magazine, is Cycling Plus. This comes out every month and it costs, what does it cost? Struggling to see that. It costs £5.50. I didn't realise it cost that much. And is it any good? The trouble is, it's all about kit. Now, cycling is all about kit, let's be honest. We like to buy some new kit. We like to know what's around. We like to see some pretty pictures. But after a while, and after you've been buying it for, Jesus, as long as I have, you find that it's the same articles, usually in the same month of the year. So in about March or so, there'll be a feature on spring kit. In May, there'll be a feature on summer kit. In September, there'll be a feature on autumn kit. Are you getting to get a bit of a flavour of things here? And every month they do a review of a different group of bikes. But sometimes it seems as if the bikes they review are not so much odd choices. Perhaps they're linked to the people who advertise. They would say that that's not true, and I'm sure they're telling the truth, but sometimes you're a little bit suspicious. It's got a monthly column by Ned Boulting, and Ned Boulting's all right. He's quite witty. He writes fairly well. I should have mentioned, by the way, in Cycling Weekly that every week they have a column from Dr. Hutch, also known as Michael Hutchinson. Michael Hutchinson is the better columnist, I've got to be honest. Ned Boulting is perhaps a slightly better writer, but Michael Hutchinson has actually been there, he's done that. Whereas Ned Boulting, he's a very keen cyclist, but let's face it, he's never been a pro, he's never been up there. Now there are those perhaps who would say that Michael Hutchinson has never been up there, but I'm not one of them. He's been up there and he's not been a bad cyclist in his day. Anyway, going back to Cycling Plus, there's always a bit about helmets, or a bit about shoes, or a bit about socks, or a bit about base layers, or which is the best bottle cage to buy, or what's the difference between this mini tool or that mini tool. So it's helpful information, don't get me wrong, and it's quite good information. And there's usually an article about a long distance ride somewhere, usually in this country. They like Cornwall, they like Scotland, they like the Lake District, who doesn't? And there's always something about here we have 11 ways to get back to your best. So there's something about recovering from injury, or there's something about how to descend, or there's something about how to climb. There is one bit that really rather gets on my nerves, and that's about what cycling did for me. And it's usually about, let's be honest, a fat bloke who got into cycling a year ago because of some problems in his life, and he was 18 stone or something, and he's been cycling for the last year, and now he's lost 14 stone, and he's doing sportives, and he's doing stuff for charity, and he loves his cycling. And okay, good luck to those people, but I've seen enough of them, guys. I've seen enough of them. I don't need to read any more. So Cycling Plus, it's okay. If you want to know about some kit, buy it once every 4 months or so, but I wouldn't buy it every month. And what the frig I was doing, paying £5.50 for it every month, God only knows. Well, God might be able to tell me then why I'm also buying Bikes Etc. Now, Bikes Etc., which comes out every month and costs, Jesus, £5.25. These people are having a laugh. Is published by, just leafing through the magazine here, guys, bear with, is published by Dennis Publishing. If you're of a certain age, you may remember Felix Dennis. He started out as actually he was kind of a pornographer, and he was quite into publishing filthy magazines, and then he developed into this massive publisher of all kinds of different magazines, and he made an absolute fortune. He died a couple of years ago. He was an interesting character. Anyway, Dennis Publishing produces Bikes Etc. and it's rather like Cycling Plus, but they are mad for their kit. They are absolutely mad. Every month there is a bit about comparing 3 different bikes. Again, sometimes you wonder why they chose those particular 3. And there's usually something about socks, or base layers, or jerseys, or bottles. What's the best bottle, for fuck's sake? I mean, a bottle's a bottle. How much do you need to know? And what else is there? There's look at that. Carbon soled shoes. Everything you need to know. There's convert to time trial. Here you are. If you're thinking of taking up time trialing, then you could get one of these helmets, or you could get a skin suit. There you are. Or you could get some overshoes. So there you are, guys. Get those bits of kit, and that's your time trial sorted. And you can get a 1949 on the G1949, but you've got to get the kit first. So Bikes Etc. Should you buy it? Nah, you shouldn't buy it. It's a waste of money. I buy it every month because I'm mad, but don't waste your money. Coming up next, ruler. Now, confession to make, I quite often don't buy it. I always intend not to buy it. I always say to myself, don't buy it, and then I usually do buy it, although I haven't bought it for the last couple of months. Want to know why? It's £7.50. £7.50, can you believe that? And this is the cut down version. There's a bigger version, which is this size. Can you see the difference there? So they save on paper. You pay £2.50 less. You get the same stuff inside, but with different pictures. And is it slightly smaller print? Not sure. And it's, what is it? What is it? It's an acquired taste, if I'm honest. The articles look better than they read, if that makes sense. In other words, you think they're going to be interesting, you think they're going to be well written, but usually they're not. And the photographs are, they're interesting in a way like the photographers just discovered camera angles. So sometimes they're kind of atmospheric but without much atmosphere. Sometimes they're kind of weird but not clever. Sometimes they're clever but just weird. Should you buy it? If you're someone who likes Rafa, and this used to be owned by Rafa, but for some reason, which I'm not entirely clear about, they got rid of it or sold it on. Should you buy it? No. No, you shouldn't. If you're a snob, yes, buy it. If you're an ordinary person, no, don't buy it. End of part 1.